The Puritan Age and Commonwealth period in English literature refer to a significant era marked by religious, political, and social upheaval in England. Here's an overview. 1. Historical context. The Puritan Age and Commonwealth period roughly spanned from the early 17th century to the Restoration in 1660. It was characterized by the English Civil War, 1642 to 1651, which pitted parliamentarians against Royalists, resulting in the execution of King Charles I in 1649 and the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. 2. Religious influence. Puritanism, a Protestant movement emphasizing strict adherence to biblical teachings and the rejection of elaborate religious rituals and hierarchy, dominated this period. Puritans sought to purify the Church of England from perceived Roman Catholic influences and sought religious reform based on the principles of simplicity and morality. 3. Literary characteristics. Literature of this period reflected Puritan ideals, focusing on moral and didactic themes. Puritan writers often used literature as a means of religious instruction and moral edification, promoting piety, humility, and the fear of God. The Puritan writing style was characterized by plainness, clarity, and directness, eschewing ornate language and elaborate literary devices. 4. Major literary figures. John Milton, renowned for his epic poem Paradise Lost and his political writings advocating for civil liberties and freedom of speech. John Bunyan, author of The Pilgrim's Progress, an allegorical tale of Christian salvation and spiritual journey. Anne Bradstreet, one of the first published poets in America, known for her religious and domestic poetry. Thomas Browne, notable for his prose works, including Religio Medici, exploring religious and philosophical themes. Richard Baxter, a prominent Puritan theologian and writer, known for his devotional and practical works. 5. Literary works. Religious and devotional literature, including sermons, prayers, and religious treatises, proliferated during this period. Allegorical and didactic works, such as John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress, were popular for their moral instruction and spiritual guidance. Political pamphlets and treatises, often advocating for Puritan principles and civil liberties, were also prevalent, reflecting the turbulent political climate. 6. Legacy. The Puritan Age and Commonwealth period left a lasting impact on English literature, shaping subsequent literary movements and religious thought. Puritan writings continue to be studied for their insights into religious belief, moral philosophy, and the social and political issues of the time. The period laid the groundwork for the Enlightenment and the rise of secularism, as well as the development of modern democracy and religious tolerance. Overall, the Puritan Age and Commonwealth period in English literature were marked by a fervent devotion to religious principles, political upheaval, and a rich literary legacy that continues to resonate today. Here are 20 one-liner question answers about the Puritan Age and Commonwealth period in English literature. 1. When did the Puritan Age and Commonwealth period occur? Roughly from the early 17th century to the Restoration in 1660. 2. What was the dominant religious movement during this period? Puritanism. What was the primary focus of Puritan literature? Moral and religious instruction. 4. Who was the author of Paradise Lost? John Milton. 5. What major event marked this period politically? The English Civil War. 6. Who led the parliamentary forces during the English Civil War? Oliver Cromwell. 7. What was the outcome of the English Civil War? The execution of King Charles I and the establishment of the Commonwealth. 8. What literary work by John Bunyan became popular during this period? The Pilgrim's Progress. 9. Who was one of the first published poets in America during this period? Anne Bradstreet. 10. What themes were prominent in Puritan literature? Piety, humility, and the fear of God. 11. Which work by Thomas Browne explored religious and philosophical themes? Religio Medici. 12. What form of literature did Puritans often use for religious instruction? Sermons. 13. Who was known for his devotional and practical works during this period? Richard Baxter. 14. What writing style was characteristic of Puritan literature? Plainness, clarity, and directness. 15. What impact did the Puritan Age have on subsequent literary movements? It influenced the development of religious and moral themes in literature. 16. What was the significance of political pamphlets during this period? They advocated for Puritan principles and civil liberties. 17. What did Puritan literature emphasize? The importance of leading a godly life and adhering to biblical teachings. 18. What was the role of allegorical literature during the Puritan Age? It provided moral instruction and spiritual guidance. 19. Who was a notable Puritan writer known for her domestic poetry? Anne Bradstreet. 20. What lasting legacy did the Puritan Age leave on English literature? It shaped subsequent literary movements and religious thought, influencing themes of morality, spirituality, and political ideology.